Well, good evening. Good evening and welcome. I told you that when I come, it's like official. Welcome to the Library of Congress. I'm Carla Hayden, the Librarian of Congress. I'll get on this side. This is pretty fun. How you doing? As you can see, the people now in the auditorium are looking at us. We thought that was a nice touch, so we can wave. Hey, everybody in the auditorium. Well, it's really exciting to see so many of you here tonight. This is a sold-out event, and I'm so glad that you were here, and we hope you can visit a display that we have of our Harry Houdini collection, and it will be in the pavilion, and I think you're going to really enjoy that. And also, if you haven't already, stop by our booksellers table, Politics and Prose. You can have the books there, and we will also have our special guest signing the books after tonight's presentation on the mezzanine. And just a little tip right up here, you could be the first in line. There is a benefit. So, right now, it's at capacity, but I think you're going to have a pretty exciting time hearing a great call. And I have a surprise for you. You get to see him first.
Hey, what's up, guys? How's it going? What's up, overflow room? Nice. I like what you did with the place. Thanks for coming. Thanks for being here. I'm going to go do a thing on there. What's more exciting than watching me on television than coming to see me live and still watching me on television? Hopefully we'll make it an enjoyable, 6-7 hours. We'll have some fun. Hi. What's your name? What's your name? Oh, I'll kiss it too. You have a sticker on your forehead. There. Actually, you guys are going to be helpful for a second. I have this. This is an envelope that's taped shut and sealed shut. Will you hold on to this? What is your name? Justin. Okay, this is important. So I don't want you to open it, but I want you to make sure no one else exchanges it or messes with it. Yeah, cool. You got it. Cool. Okay, cool. Enjoy. I'll be right back. I'll be over there in a second. See you. Thanks for coming.
Thank all of you. Enjoy the show. Don't forget to get your books, and you can have him sign it after tonight's presentation. And remember, the signing is going to be right up there, so right afterwards, you just go right on up. You'll be the first in line. We'll see you soon.
Good evening, it's me once more. We have a brief announcement before we begin. First, please silence or turn off your cell phones for the duration of the program. Second, we are delighted that Neil Patrick Harris has graciously offered to sign books immediately following his presentation. We have a few guidelines for that process. To join the signing line and meet Mr. Harris, you must have a signing line ticket signifying purchase of his new book, The Magic Misfits, The Minor Third. These tickets are distributed when you pick up your pre-order books or buy books in the front lobby where you checked in and can be obtained after the program. The tickets are divided into groups by number. After the program, we'll call those groups in order. For those with special physical needs or with an infant, we will provide an opportunity for you to join the signing line before others. We have every expectation that the signing line will move quickly. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the 14th Librarian of Congress, Carla Hayden.
Thank you very much. Well, thank you, Michelle. And good evening. Good evening to you all. I see two friends right here, Jaden and Morgan. So they're right up front. And good evening to all of you here and to everyone in the Coolidge. We're in the Coolidge, but in the Great Hall. Can we give a shout out to them because they saw that? Okay. Because we have a wonderful sold out crowd tonight. And as many of you know, the library hosts the National Book Festival every year at the Washington Convention Center. And we just celebrated it 2 weeks ago with more than 140 authors and more than 200,000 attendees. That deserves a hand. Next year will be the 20th year and the big celebration, so look out for that. However, we wanted to expand it to a year-long celebration. And so tonight we are kicking off, and thank you, this is the best kickoff we could ever have, a brand new author series called National Book Festival Presents. And it will feature award-winning authors and poets and illustrators right here at the Library of Congress. And during these events, we're going to feature things from our collection, like the Harry Houdini collection. And we hope that you get a chance to see, oh, give a hand for that, yes, that's good. That's right. Because we want you to not only meet authors and poets, but we also want you to delve into all of the wonderful collections that the Library of Congress has. And so we're collaborating also with Politics and Prose Bookstore. They deserve a hand. I have to admit that at the book festival, I walked away with a bag full of books. So now, I know you don't want to hear any more from me because we have to get to our special guest. So I know you also don't need me to read aloud his long and brilliant resume of achievements. Many of you fell in love with him on the small screen, first as a teenager on Doogie Howser, MD. Now, I may get this wrong, so I need your help. Wait for it. Awesome? Say it loud. Thank you. I will not forget that now. And also, you know, he won a Tony for his performance in Hedwig and the Angry Inch. But most of all, I know that we love seeing him hosting the Tonys, the Emmys, and the Oscars. And because he was not busy enough, he's now a celebrated author. And his new children's book series, The Magic Misfits. And just yesterday, the third edition, entitled The Magic Misfits, The Minor Third, hit the bookstores. And so Politics and Prose has it right here. So I wanted to also take this opportunity to thank the donors to the library who are making this possible, and we really appreciate their support. And our special guest will be interviewed by the Library of Congress's Chief Communications Officer, Roswell Encina. So please give a big welcome to Washington and the Library of Congress, actor, author, excellent showman, legendary Tony Award and Emmy Award winner, Neil Patrick Harris.
Hi, everybody. Oh, good, thanks. Hi. Hi. How's it going?
Welcome to the Library of Congress.
Thank you so much. This is so very exciting.
Can you believe the librarian said, wait for it? So
And then awesome.
it's a sign that it's going to be a magical night.
Magnificent.
So let's get right to it.
Yes, sir.
So this book, or your series, has been well received by kids, by adults,
Awesome.
and by critics. How does that make you feel?
It makes me feel great. I never anticipated being an author. That was something. I read a ton of books, and I love books, and I love watching our kids learn how to read. The first job I ever had when I was 10 or 11 years old was in a bookstore. So I've just always had an affinity for the book as a tactile thing. And so when I had the opportunity to be able to write an autobiography, that seemed kind of random, because I felt far too young to pontificate about things I've learned in all my years. So I did a weird version of an autobiography. I did sort of an anti-structure autobiography called a Choose Your Own autobiography based on those Choose Your Own Adventure books. Apologies in advance for how fast I'm speaking.
He's a pro.
Nice. And when I did that, and it was fun, and it was a different structure, and I thought that was kind of fun. They asked if I wanted to write anything else, and Harper and Gideon, my husband and my kids at that time were 5 or so, and we were reading lots of picture books, and I thought that would be cool to do a picture book, because it could involve magic. I love magic, and I thought picture books and magic tricks, and maybe teaching younger kids magic and the ideas behind magic seemed like a keen idea. And then our kids kept growing, which apparently happens. So then I realized that maybe picture book's not the best call, and I was thinking ahead, and I thought, what about a middle grade, like a chapter book? Because then these ideas of kids who like magic but don't feel that they fit in, which would be very simplified in 48, 60 pages, could be fully fleshed out. And then I thought, oh wait, if it was really cool, it could be a series of books.
Yes.
But not too many. And so I thought, what if there were 4 books, like the 4 suits of a deck of cards?
You're seeing them right here.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time on the covers and such. And so that was sort of how it came to be. I worked a lot on making sure everyone was recognized in a certain way, that no one felt excluded, and yet creating this fictional world that was real time and modern, but not technologically modern, so that it would kind of be Rockwellian, timeless a little bit, and could be read in a decade without
little timeless
pictures of
in the end.
flip phones
Yes.
kids are talking into.
Well, let's give the audience here a refresher, just in case there's some new readers out here,
Cool.
or anybody else who needs a refresher, like a previously on the Magic Misfits. Give us a quick synopsis, what these books are about.
Well, there's a town called Mineral Wells, and it's sort of a quintessential town if you liked the Goonies, which I did. And it's filled with locked doors and passageways, and there's a boy named Carter Locke who is the protagonist of the first book. That suit is diamonds. And Carter learned magic from his uncle. His parents aren't in the picture, and his uncle taught a kind of a bad form of magic magic used for an agenda. The three-card Monty, stealing money, picking people's pockets and stealing watches and things. And Carter became very adept at that, but his take on magic was that there was some reason why magic was being done, and it was to sort of take from somebody else. He ends up leaving his uncle and jumping on a train, and the train takes him to this town called Mineral Wells, and in it he meets these other like-minded people. And he also meets a magician with a top hat who owns a magic shop in town. His name is Mr. Vernon, and Mr. Vernon introduces him to his daughter Layla, who as well likes magic. She sort of likes escape. She can escape from almost anything. She's the protagonist of this second book. You're like my Vanna White. This is amazing.
I am your Vanna White.
And that's clubs. The suit is clubs. And there's a couple twins named Izzy and Ollie, and they sort of realize that their love of magic and that their love, their individuality, when they join this club together and create this club called the Magic Misfits, helmed sort of by Mr. Vernon, who runs the magic shop. They realize that they can help solve problems. So in the first book, there's a carnival boss named BB Bosso who comes into town to steal a diamond in the town, a giant diamond, and they get to use sort of magical principles to keep him away from doing that. It turns out BB Bosso is part of this big other club, which you learn about in the clubs book, and it's called the Emerald Ring. Bum, bum, bum. And the Emerald Ring is a club that has been formed earlier, sort of in Mr. Vernon's time, with other people. And there's another woman that comes in the second book, and her name is Madame Esmeralda, a woman named Sandra Santos. And so you learn that there's these two different clubs, one for doing things that are for good, and one for doing things to stop the goodness of magic. And so cut to the third book, which is the Hearts suit, and it's following Theo Steinmeier, who is a prodigy violinist, and he always wears a tuxedo. And as luck would have it, his violin bow can also work sort of as a magic wand and make things levitate. So his specialty is levitation.
Uh-oh.
And there's How Very Dare You, Sir.
Exactly. We clearly can't levitate right now.
That would have been so amazing.
So,
and there's a forthcoming, pardon the pun, book, which will be the fourth misfit in the group, and her name is Ridley, and she's wheelchair bound, but she's sort of the brains of the operation. She can make things turn into other things, not magic. Keep in mind, the magic in this world that I've created is still practical magic. As much as I like magic with wands and wizards and portals and things. For me, I've always loved magic as a hobby, so we're dealing with things that can actually happen. So while Theo can levitate things with his bow, I try to write it and word it in a way that it's not so magical and mystical that it's impossible. So there's practical reasons for it. And these four kids then use their skills together to, form a community together as themselves and help sort of defeat the Emerald Ring.
you mentioned that you love magic. I mean, you love magic because you were a child magician. You were also the president of the Academy of Magical Arts. So did you pull from your personal experiences as a young magician or a magician now to write these books?
Oh, for sure, yeah. Magic's been my hobby since I was 8 or 9 years old.
You mentioned on the Today Show the other day that you had doves when you were little.
I don't recommend it. Doves are adorable, but they do very few things. One of which is coo incessantly.
You touched a little bit.
The other thing that doves do is, this is how simple they are. If you take a dove and you hold it upside down so that it's laying on its back, it just stops moving. Just like you've hypnotized it. Then you flip it back over and... So yes, I had doves when I was a kid. I grew up in a very idyllic small town, much like Mineral Wells, I guess, in the mountains of New Mexico. Most people think New Mexico is deserts, But this was not. This is a ski resort town called Ruidoso, and in the summertime there's quarter horse racing there. And it was great, but it was very remote. So when we would go to Albuquerque, the larger town in New Mexico, there was a magic shop at the mall, the Windrock Mall, and it was called Fool's Paradise. And
Is it still there?
it's not still there.
Oh.
But I loved the title. And I loved going, and I would save my allowance, and I would go there, and it was a magic show. I mean, if you ever go to a magic shop, and you should frequent local magic shops, because they're just so great, because the person that works behind the counter knows all these tricks. So you can say, what is the thing over there with that blue deck of cards? And then he'll do the trick for you, and it's uniformly impressive, but he won't tell you how it's done unless you ching, shell out the money. And that's really exciting when you're a kid, too, because you're desperate to know the answers. And maybe that's just me. That's kind of how my brain works, is I like knowing how things work. I love seeing the machinations of things. I love automatons, and I love backstage at a musical where all the sets go. Like, how does that happen? I love knowing that. That's a magic trick to me, right? And so I would save up my allowance, and I would go and I would see all these things, and I'd just spend hours there at the counter, and I'd either leave. What happened? That is the coolest magic trick I think I have ever seen. Will you join my troop of merry men? Welcome, I apologize. And so I would sometimes save up my money, and I would buy one big, cool sort of parlor trick, and other times I would buy a bunch of little packet tricks, small single tricks that you can buy, and then on the car ride home from Albuquerque to Ruidoso, for those 3 hours, I would be in the back seat with a blanket over my head, and I would be seeing what the secret is, and then learning what to say, and then I'd practice it. And I just loved it, and I still do. I think it's a great hobby for people looking for a hobby. It's very interesting in many ways. It's more than collecting a thing. Like if you collect stamps or comics, that's super great as well, but you need to keep it in pristine condition. So you collect comics, but you keep them in a little thing that's mint very good condition, and it's stacked in things, and I don't feel like you end up getting to utilize them as much, right? Magic, you can perform magic, you can decide that you really want to do mentalism, and then you can delve into mentalism. You can buy tricks and go to libraries and read books about mentalism, and you can see current shows that are mentalists doing amazing things. And then you can learn about the histories of mentalists and how they came to be, and that goes very, very far back. It's really quite astounding to be here, of all places. Earlier this afternoon, before they opened up the house, they brought some stuff from Houdini's collection, and these are actual relics and artifacts from Houdini, and it's just amazing. And Houdini's very famous, but there's hundreds of magicians who have led equally salty and exciting lives, and there's a lot of history to learn from that. So as a kid, writing a book, having twin 8-year-olds who are now able to read, I just found it fitting into so many things that I like. I like being able to teach sense of humor, to teach vocabulary, to open up like a little Pandora's box of a new world. I love skeleton keys and secret doors, but I also love teaching magic. Within each book, there's 4 or 5 teach-a-tricks, and those are designed more for a younger set, for probably 9 or 10-year-olds, although a lot of adults are terrible magicians, so they could probably use them as well.
I was telling you before we got on stage that I was up till 2 in the morning trying to solve these puzzles. So it's...
well, he's speaking about that, so there's another layer. Is in addition to the teach-a-tricks, I also thought it would be fun to just pepper in some codes and puzzles and things in the book that I never really talk about, that might clue you into some things that'll happen in future books, because I just loved that. When I was growing up, I would read Encyclopedia Brown books and Choose Your Own Adventures, and I would just love, sometimes there's a great book called The Westing Game by Ellen Raskin. Did you read that? Oh. Because as I was reading it, there were clues that were solvable in it, but you didn't know, but you could solve it as you were going along. And I did one of those like real WTF moments, though I was a kid, so F meant frick. And what the frick? And I went back, and sure enough, I could solve clues and puzzles within the book itself. I love that stuff. So there's secret things in the book as well.
Let's talk about some of the characters. You mentioned some of them. What I like about them is how diverse these kids are. There's a little young African-American boy who plays the violin.
Theo Steinmeier.
You mentioned Ridley, a young girl who's in a wheelchair.
Ridley Larson.
And Layla has two dads. How important was it for you to have a reflection of how the world is so the kids could see themselves in your book?
Well, that was honestly very eloquently put, and that was kind of why I did it. I question delving too deeply into the reasons why I did that, so that people listening think that that was a real agenda of mine, and it wasn't. But it was more to create a reflection of a kind of world that we now live in that has all types. So instead of the fact that Layla was adopted by Mr. Vernon is traumatic to her, and that you find out in the second book, but that doesn't define her. And the fact that Mr. Vernon his partner is the other Mr. Vernon.
Who's a chef, by the way?
He's a chef, by the way.
Who does
the
this
Grand
remind
Oak,
you of?
at the Grand Oak Resort. Yeah, so my husband's a chef. But I didn't want it to be so overt. So I had him drawn and look a totally different way, but I made him sort of not a lot of hair and kind of round and glasses to be different. My husband did not like that. There was no commentary at all. I was trying the opposite. I was trying to deflect, but it didn't work out that way. But the fact that that Layla has two dads, the fact that Theo has many brothers and sisters, and they're all musicians and affluent and proper, the fact that Carter was raised by his uncle, I just wanted it to exist in the world so that it represented, I suppose, but more so that people could read the book and feel that they could connect to it in some way.
On behalf of all those misfits, thank you.
Yeah.
Representing everyone.
Cool.
So
Cool.
one thing I really adore about the book is the big theme about it, which is that you could find magic anywhere. I think there's a lot of books out there that you were talking about. You need wands, and there's spells, and there's curses. But this involves like magic that we could all learn. And and I feel like the big theme of that, you could find magic anywhere, is what I think really connects to most readers. I'm going to read one little part here that's like my favorite that really explains everything. It's from Carter. He says, quote, "I think magic is about more than stagecraft," Carter said. "It's about happiness. It's about laughter. It's about that feeling you get inside." And I feel like, especially in this day and age, kids should be able to connect to something that makes them magical, whether it's a smile from their teacher, a bravo from their parent. I feel like everybody has something to learn from it.
For sure, but also I like magical things that happen in real life. Not everything is a card trick, right? But I hear what you're saying, that you want to have feelings that are magical feelings. But I like when a chameleon can change color. Like, that to me is so weird and magical. You know what I mean? I like when a sunset makes the sky turn all these interesting shades of color. That to me is a magic trick. So I think that there is magic to be found in nature, in energy, in, like you say, being proud. There's a lot of opportunities from it. You want to see a card trick?
Yes.
Watch this. Look at it. No, it's small. What have I been working on?
I tried some of the tricks in the book.
How'd they go?
I failed miserably. I was trying it on myself, so I wasn't sure if.
Oh.
I've got to try it with some coworkers.
Yeah,
tomorrow.
you might have figured out how it's done.
Yes.
All right, deck of cards. All right, normal cards. Nothing shady about them. I want you to take them, and I want you to hold them in your hand face down, and I want you to imagine where the right spot is. It can be anywhere, and I want you to just cut the cards and look at the card that you cut to, okay?
All right.
You can take a look at it. I'm not going to look
Okay.
at one. Will you show it to everyone and make sure that I can't see? Can you see it there? In the overflow room. Sorry.
Did you see it, overflow room?
Okay, you got it? Okay, put it back in the deck.
Oh, hold on.
Yeah.
Did I do it wrong? Hold on. I think I did.
It's fine. I don't want to peek. I don't want to do anything interesting. Okay. I don't know if you've noticed, but I spilled water. No, I have another card that's in my pocket that was put there from before. This is from my own deck of cards. And how remarkable would it be if those matched? Now, I don't want you to say
what
the
is it?
name. I don't want you to say the name of the card, okay?
Okay. What was it? All right. Okay.
Do you remember what
I
it is?
do remember what it is now.
Think of the name of your card. You got it in your mind? I don't want you to lose it. Think of the name of the card. You got it? Was it the 8 of clubs? Was it really not the 8 of
It
clubs?
wasn't the 8 of clubs.
Oh, okay. Don't tell me. Don't tell me. Don't tell me. Don't tell me. Wait. I have a backup. Was it really not? Was it really
It
not?
wasn't.
The 8 of clubs? Okay, don't tell me. Don't tell me. Was it? I have a backup card here in my back pocket. King of Diamonds. Seriously?
No.
It wasn't. Okay. Okay, let's move on then.
I told you. I did.
Was it really? It wasn't the 8 of. Okay, don't tell me. Don't tell me. Don't tell me. Ace of diamonds. Okay.
No.
What's your next question? Sorry.
That's.
It's getting warm up here.
I got warm too. Before we get more into morph tricks, did you find inspiration? Did you have your own Magic Misfits when you were a kid that served as an inspiration?
Well, I guess I kind of was a bit of a misfit. I mean, growing up in a tiny town, I was mostly surrounded by farms and football, and I was kind of into singing and playing the xylophone. That was my instrument of choice. When they went around and asked, what did you want to play? Why didn't I play trumpet? I had to walk around with this metal thing with a strap around my neck. Ding, 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 ding. I love it. I can still play a mean Flight of the Bumblebee. But I regret,
You were talking about earlier that you saw.
I do go on. Yes?
You saw our Houdini collection. So, and
Yeah.
I love that you made reference of Houdini in the second book. So, I love.
Jack of Spades?
No. Now I can't find my tab. You got me all. All right. You say here that Houdini was part of this club whose mission was to stop people from believing in fortune tellers. Ridley continued. In most of the old photos where the spiritualists were supposedly spitting out this ghostly slime called ectoplasm, Houdini figured out it was actually made of wet cheesecloth. So because of your love for Houdini, here at the Library of Congress, we believe that every person could connect to some of our treasures. So we have a little surprise for you. So I would like to call the chief of the Rare Books Division. I'm hoping he shows up. With
Wow, that was cool.
with a big surprise for you.
Can I take this from you? Thank you. Nice
How
to
are
see
you,
you
sir?
again.
Nice to see you,
Nice
too.
to
Have
see
a
you again.
seat. Have a
no,
seat.
I'm fine. Please
You good?
stand here.
Okay.
We had the pleasure of showing you some of the Houdini collection.
Aye.
For those of you in the audience who don't know, Harry Houdini bequeathed his entire record to the American people at the Library of Congress. And what we saw today was a series of scrapbooks, among other things. So we thought we would give you your own scrapbook to take home. And one of them is, if we can have our first slide up, if we can do the slides. Yes. This is perhaps the most important item in the Houdini collection. Although it would take many more decades before Houdini became an escape artist, at the age of 12 he disappeared. He went for work. He just forgot to tell his mother he was doing so. He hopped on a freight train and realized he had to write to his mother and say, "I'm on my way to Galveston. You won't see me for a year, but I send my regards." And signed it, most importantly, your truant son, and then his real name, Eric Weiss. So we thought this would be a good way of starting off your scrapbook.
Wow.
What we've left for you, if we can go to the next image, is a series of pictures and items that show us the history of Houdini. So he, after marrying Bess in particular, and after Martin Beck suggested at a vaudeville theater that leave the card stuff alone,
Sure.
move on to Escape,
The big stuff.
he became the Wizard of Escape, especially handcuff and chains. And this is a very early, I might add, beefcake photo of Houdini.
I've been there.
Yeah. You're welcome. Yeah. It's a good job. Can we go on to the next image, if you would, please? If we can go, yes. So Houdini, in order to
The weed chain.
the Weed Chain Tire Grip Company.
Nice.
Wherever he would travel around America, he would orchestrate these challenges, from the gatekeepers of insane asylums to the makers of locks and handcuffs and a variety of other things. And they would issue these challenges. He would sell insurance policies to the audience. If I fail, you'll double your money. Of course, he made a killing. So we thought one of them, we would just pull one of these for you to see what will become the rise of Houdini to ultimately the most famous man in the world.
Yeah, right.
It happens by looking at the next slide, if you will. In 1908, Houdini
He shrunk.
Yes, he's a very short man. In 1908, he does his famous milk can escape trick, in which he has himself submerged in a milk can full of water and padlocked shut. As he goes underwater, he asks the audience to hold their breath. 1 minute, 2 minutes. By now, people are recording that the audience is gasping. As he goes under, he reminds people that when you do capture your breath, I'm drowning. 3.5 minutes go by. The audience is now in a panic. And just as they're rising to go liberate him from the can, he walks off the side of the stage dripping wet. This makes him internationally famous and rises to great fame. So much so that if we look at the next image, he gives his hand at motion pictures.
Yep.
He probably should have stayed in the can, I think. But
I like them. I think they're good.
he does great escapes, and he also does airplane tricks.
Yeah.
Which he becomes quite famous for. And there's a great incident in which there is an accident, and the stuntman falls, and Houdini insists that they continue filming it. He takes his place on the ground, and it becomes part of the plot of the film.
Wow.
Finally, just to finish it off for your scrapbook, we've given you a sheet of his stationery. That's the next image. He's very proud of himself and continues to add to the stationery over years with various vignettes of his accomplishments. At the bottom, that little black square, he's quite proud of the fact that Funk and Wagnall coined a term, Houdinize, which means to wiggle out. And finally, the last image, his bookplate, never missing an opportunity to promote. So we thought it was wonderful, given your own interest in magic, to be able to share Houdini with you, and we just wanted you to be able to take some.
Wow, thank you so much.
Thank you for coming.
I really appreciate it.
Thanks very much.
Wow. That is so kind.
You didn't expect that show and tell, did you?
Not at all.
We're going to start taking questions from the audience soon before our music division people come out and start showing their collection.
But wait, I have one question.
Sure.
King of clubs?
No. Before we start questions from the audience, what do you want these young readers, I see a lot of them here in the audience, to learn from the book?
Oh, wow. I wish that there was a singular thing. I think, I don't know how to answer that to multiple demographics. I think what's exciting about reading is that you can take from it something that's individual to you. And what I'm uncomfortable doing is feeling like I know so much that I'm able to sort of be preachy and speak with too much authority. And so what I've tried to do with these books is design them in a way that you can learn magic tricks, you can learn life lessons, you can learn about people who are like you, and you can learn about people who are nothing like you, and you can also just read and enjoy the adventure of it all. So it's not trying to do anything super duper highbrow. At the same time, I hope that I can maybe get a younger demographic, a younger generation of kids who don't know about magic and how fun it can be to appreciate it on a few different levels.
I absolutely adored it. As I told you earlier, that I was up till 2 in the morning just solving the
Oh,
puzzles.
you want to know another cool thing? When you take the jackets off the books, it doesn't look like the book. I had them do this nice gold leafing, and it says the name of the kid. So this one says Carter, and then this one says Layla, and the other says Theo. And then my initials are on the top because I wrote it. But I also have 3 random letters that aren't so random, because when you put all 4 books together, it looks like you're very smart, because it looks more like an encyclopedia, but then it says M-A-G, MAG, and I-C-M, ICM, and ISP, so it'll say Magic Misfits when you have all 4 of them together. But I thought that was kind of cool and made it nice.
Does.
So just don't put a glass on top of it.
So let's take questions from the audience.
Yeah.
I'll let you pick them.
Oh, really?
Yes.
All right, you raise your hand really fast in the middle. That was so nice. That gift is that's very sweet. Hi.
Can you hear me?
Talking so
Yes, we can.
quietly.
There
Oh
we
yeah,
go.
again, hi.
Hey, so every magician sort of has their own signature magic trick, right? Have you developed your own, and are you able to show it to us now?
Well, it went so well the first time. I probably know the most about stage magic, because a lot of the principles within stage magic have to do with are also principles for theater, and so I've always been drawn to DeColta and to Thurston and to William Robinson and people that design illusion stuff, because I was a kid I was born in 1973. So when I was watching TV, there was very little interweb, and there were a few channels on TV. And David Copperfield used to be on TV once a year. He still performs more than any magician ever. He's in the Guinness Book of World Records, I believe. But he would do these singular shows where he would make the Statue of Liberty vanish live on TV, and then the next year he would walk through the Great Wall of China. You'd see it happening. And then he'd take an Orient Express train car, and people would be holding hands surrounding the train car. He'd make it levitate and then vanish, an entire train car. And within it, he would do lots of other smaller, interesting tricks. So I had an affinity for stage magic. Lately, I've been more interested in mentalism, like I mentioned before. I don't know, I think there's something fun about debunking the spiritualists who claim that they can, authentically read minds, but I do think there's something about intuition and being able to sort of read tells of people and kind of glean information from them in certain ways. That's probably what I do most often when I dabble.
Let's get a kid with a question.
Oh yeah, hi. Yeah, you in this right? Yeah, absolutely, in the dress. Yeah, hi.
Who is your favorite magician?
Who is my favorite magician? Well, wait, keep the microphone. Do you mean my favorite magician ever of all time, or do you mean my favorite magician now that's currently doing magic?
Your favorite? Both.
Both, all right, cool. I think you only get one question. No, just kidding. I'm just teasing. My favorite magician of all time is, oh gosh, I don't know. Probably Howard Thurston. He traveled around at the turn of the century on sleeper train cars, and it was right at the time when those big stage shows were the height of entertainment, and people dressed up and had never seen some of these effects before. So I just loved the theatricality of that time period. Currently speaking, there's a guy named Derek Delgadio that I directed a show of his called Nothing to Hide, and then I produced a show of his called In and of Itself. And he does card stuff, but he's able to take magical effects and put them in a context that makes you feel like you're having a TED Talk kind of life lesson about things. Ted's this guy who knows a lot of stuff. So Penn and Teller in Las Vegas are doing really fantastic stuff. I love the Vegas magicians. That's a really good question. Thanks for asking both of them. You look beautiful, by the way. That dress and the shoes match the dress. What's your name?
Chaley.
Chaley, and a beautiful name.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
I thought Mr. Thurston actually was the millionaire from Gilligan's Island. So
Oh,
that's somebody else.
was that Thurston?
Oh.
Thurston Howell III. True dat, true dat. All right, what about this lovely girl here in the blue with the dark hair? Yeah. I'm picking girls with blue dresses today.
What was your favorite time when you hosted the Tony Awards?
Oh. When I was done. 11:05. Have you watched those Tony Award things? They were so, that is the crazy, I never thought in my life that I would be hosting an award show honoring Broadway musicals. I was a kid from small town New Mexico that didn't even know that Broadway musicals existed until I heard of a show called Les Miserables, and I went to see it, and it was this epic show, and it has the stage spun around, which was new back then, and there was a barricade that came on. It spoke about the French Revolution. It was so cool. And from that point forward, I went to New York, and I just saw a bunch of shows every chance I could. And then suddenly I was on a CBS TV show, and wouldn't you know, the Tonys are on CBS. So I was able to be in the small pool of people considered for hosting gigs, cross promotion, and so I got to do it, and it is my favorite award show to watch. It's my favorite award show to be a part of, because you're honoring people who really work very, very diligently, 8 times a week, twice on 2 days, and they perform. These ensemble members who change their costumes and play 7 different characters and dance like you've never seen before, and they do it for not much money and for not many people, for maybe 1,000 people. And it's unbelievable when you see a show, and you think, like, how do they do that every single night? Well, for the Tonys, they get one night where they do it for 1 million people, more. And they get to do, and so you're sitting in the show at home and you're watching these people who are so appreciative to be there to perform the best number from their show. It's a big advertisement in a way for them, but deservedly so. And they've all worked with each other, so that's nice in the audience. There's no feuds going on. You know what I mean? It's not like, oh, there's the Game of Thrones cast. Oh, look, it's Downton Abbey. Pish posh, pish posh. Pish posh, pish posh. They're like, oh, Bernadette Peters. So because that, the energy's really good, and it's just a fun thing to do, to be P.T. Barnum and to get to say, now look at this amazing show. You thought that was cool, now look at this amazing show. Since I like, when you see me, I'm like Tigger. I like being a host because I get to then do opening numbers. So I got to do that one opening number when they moved from a smaller theater, the Beacon, to Radio City Music Hall, and that was a big, giant space, right? And so it seemed like, well, there's your opening number, something about how big we are now that we're here. And so Lin-Manuel Miranda, who this was pre-Hamilton, the musical, not the guy. He wrote this song called Bigger, and it involved so many people from all of the shows, and there were so many, I did a magic trick within it, and there were so many things that really, really could have gone wrong. We could spend an hour and a half talking about all of the things that really legitimately almost went terribly wrong. And in turn, they made me jump through a hoop. There was a paper hoop, was this big. I'm rehearsing with Pippin, the Pippin cast, and they say, we have this good idea. Why don't you just go run and you'll jump through this hoop like Pippin does in the show? And I said, okay. How does that work?
I do remember you popping up at the very end from the back of the theater and running up front.
Yeah. But I said, how does this work, this whole? And they said, well, you just run and jump through the hoop. And I said, really? That's all you do? And they said, yeah, just commit, run, jump, hurdle right through it. And I said, this is going to be a terrible meme. This is going to be the worst GIF ever when I'm like so excited and confident. That's bigger. Unite. Boom. Boom. Thankfully, that didn't happen. And it turned out to be just great. That was so fun. I love the Tonys, and I could talk about them for ages.
Would you consider doing it again?
Yeah, I would love to. I would love to. It was really, it's much more corporate than just picking a host. Yeah. And James Corden, who is on CBS doing a late night hosting gig, has won a Tony himself for a brilliant performance in a play called One Man, Two Governors. He's hilarious, he can sing, he's super talented. So he's a great host at the moment. But if I ever got the chance, I would get to beat Angela Lansbury's record. Humming for you.
All right, I think we have time for one or two more questions.
Coming for you, Miss Lovett. Oh,
this
I should
kid
have
is really
said that
excited
about
up
Angela
there. So,
Lansbury.
yeah.
I should never have said that about Angela. Oh, you're switching seats. That's so sweet.
This
you're
kid's
pointing.
very excited. I
Oh
feel
man,
like we need a
yeah, you are. What up? You're so tall.
And his arms also.
Oh, you're standing.
Yeah.
Got it. What's your name?
I'm Elliot.
Hey, Elliot. How old are you?
11.
11. Cool. What's your question?
Have you ever written a book about an animal?
There's a monkey in book 2, right?
Yeah, there's a few animals within. But do you mean just in my spare time? Just like in a
Like at all, have you ever written a story?
No. But can I ask me a follow-up question? And then I'll ask you the same thing. If I were to write a book about an animal, what animal would I choose to write about? I'm going to choose a dolphin. I love dolphins. They look like they're smiling all the time. And then when they're in the wild, they just jump up and do backflips. What a cool life. And they eat sushi all the time. What would you choose?
Probably a fox.
A fox. Tell me why.
They're cool and pretty and creepy, and they're the fastest animals.
Totally. Yours is a way better answer than mine. Nice.
All right,
Great
let's
question.
do one more question.
Okay.
I'll give you the honors of picking
Oh my
someone.
goodness.
So
Everyone's pointing to this lovely young girl in the back
yes.
with the peach dress on. Hiya. How are you?
I'm good.
What's your name?
Basil.
Basil. What a lovely name and a delicious herb. What's your question?
Out of all the misfits, what is your favorite misfit?
Out of all the misfits, who's my favorite? Well, that's a really interesting question. I'm probably most like Carter, but I think my favorite one to write for is Ridley, because she has a really kind of dark sensibility, but you know that she's also very kind and that there's a heart there, and I can't wait for her story to be, to be more fully fleshed out. It's hard to choose though, because they're all different. They all provide different elements of a bigger, complete picture for me. So, but yeah, probably those two. Oh no, or Theo. No, Layla. Not Izzy and Ollie. Their comedy is terrible.
So before we let you go,
Thank you for asking that question.
have you guessed what my card is yet?
That's how we're gonna end with you reminding me that I failed at a card trick. It really wasn't the 8 of. I could do one more thing.
Okay.
I'll try and do the mentalism thing again. I would do a card trick, but that went terribly wrong the first time. Why don't I try and do mentalism and get people to see if I can come up with things that people are thinking in their head, but I don't want to just pick random people, so I have a random number generator that I brought with me.
Oh, boy.
It's also called a die that I stole from a Monopoly game. So what I'm going to do is I can hand this to someone. What do you want? You raise your hand? Okay, cool. I'm going to hand it to you. And what I would like you to do is hand it. Do you know either of those two gentlemen behind you? No. Will you hand it to one of them? Yeah? All right, cool. Have we met before? Do you work here? Yeah, so I feel like people may think that we know. Will you the woman next to you? We've never met before, have we? Oh my gosh. These front rows. Who have I not? You, sir? You've never even heard of me. Okay, perfect. Will you stand up? This is perfect. Hiya.
Like a target.
Yeah. What's your name?
Charlie.
Charlie, how are you? Good? Okay, so here's what I want you to do. You have a die in your hand. I'm gonna instead of reading your mind by picking a number, which one I don't think one can do, I'm gonna come up with something to associate something to each number, and then I'm gonna have you randomly select a number, and then I'll try and figure out if I can figure out what you have chosen. So let's pick a place, a location, a city. Okay, so hand the microphone off because I need both of your hands for this. Cover the die in your hands, and I want you to shake your hands, and then it's going to land on a number, and I want you to peek at the number, and the numbers are going to be the one that's facing up, obviously, right? Do you have that? Can you show someone so that they don't think that you know what it is? Okay, perfect. So what I am going to do is, if it's the number 1, let's say it's London. If it's the number 2, let's say it's Paris. Number 3, let's say Washington, D.C. 4, let's say it's Orlando. 5 is Los Angeles, and 6 would be Albuquerque, where I'm from, okay? So you've heard all of those. I want you to think of the town that aligned with your number. You got it? You thinking of it? Okay, this is interesting because as I said those, I kind of looked around, but I saw that your posture changed a little bit. Ooh la la, was it Paris? Nice, very good, awesome. Okay, cool. Hand it to somebody else. Hand the die to somebody else. How about this gentleman with the beard? We don't know each other, do we? Okay, cool. Would you stand up? You don't need the microphone, it's okay. What is your name? Brad, cool. All right, let's do this again. I want you to, shake it up, and you'll come up with a number. And now instead, why don't we do, I don't know, colors? No, let's do food, because I'm starving. Okay, go ahead and take a gander at the number that you've thrown in. It's the one that's on top, right? And why don't you show, is that your daughter? Yeah. So I don't want you to think that you're changing your mind. You don't trust her. Okay, well, it's okay. Wow. No family drama here. Okay, so food. Let's say 1 is burgers, 2 is ice cream, 3 is sushi, 4 would be chicken, 5 would be, what else is delicious? Pork chops. 6 would be pizza. Here, we'll do it a little bit differently. This time I want you to lie to me. I want you to say, the food I chose is, and pick one of the different ones, not the one that you chose, right? Does that make sense? So, say it to me now. Say, I chose, and then tell me, and mean it, but lie to me. Say, I chose, but not the one that's your actual food, but say a different one.
I chose sushi.
Interesting. You didn't choose sushi. You chose pizza. Nice. 2 for 2, baby. I'm gonna try one more time. One more time. I want to try it. Hand the die over again. You want to take it? Why don't you go in the green? Okay, cool. Why don't you stand up? What's your name? Chris. All right, we're going to try this again. This time let's do a person, like a celebrity person. Okay? So shake it up. This time, though, you know what? Instead of just being random, I don't want people to think that the die is tricky. So, and that it's weighted or something, that it's going to land in a certain position. So instead, you can look and you can turn the die so that the one you want is face up, right? So you're actually picking the number. You got that? Interesting. Okay, let's put a person for each number. If number 1, let's make Oprah Winfrey. Number 2, let's make Taylor Swift. Number 3, let's make, I need help. What are good people? Angela Lansbury is good. Number 4, Barack Obama. Too soon? Number 5, Nick Jonas. And number 6, Barney Stinson. Yes! All right, think of the person that's associated with the number, okay? I don't think it's a female. I think I'm sort of torn between Barney Stinson, Nick Jonas, Barack Oh, you blinked when I said, was it Nick Jonas? Nice! 3 in a row. Thank you very much. Here, toss it over. Thanks.
Good catch.
Thanks. Cool. Oh,
All
wait.
right.
Wait a minute.
wait.
Wait 1 second. Before this started, I was in their overhaul room and I handed a guy an envelope, didn't I?
What?
Wait a second. Can we still see it?
There it is.
Awesome. Okay. Oh, this will be so great. Okay, wait.
Oh, boy.
So you have an envelope. You have a microphone too? Can I hear you?
Is it working? Yes. Was. And it is again.
Oh, I can't hear you. Is this mic on? Oh, that's working. Whatever you're doing there is actually working.
Oh, we can't hear.
Oh, we can't hear you.
Rush over here.
What a buzzkill this will be. Okay, well, you know what? We can't hear you with the microphone. No, I know. I think you can hear. Oh, now someone's singing. That's exciting. No, I'll tell you what we'll do. You're holding in your hand. Just pantomime it with me, because it'll be great. And I'm hoping that this camera can zoom in a little bit, and we'll all read the prediction that I've written inside this envelope. Can you open it up? Oh, he can't hear me. This worked so well in dress rehearsal. Hey, why don't you wait? No, wait. Why doesn't he come over here? Don't have him open it. Have him come over here. Tim.
You want to go down there?
Have him come over. Have him come over to me.
Just tell
Run.
him to come over.
Hurry. Run. Run. Run like the wind. I knew I gave him this piece of paper for a reason. He'll be here in about 12 minutes. So,
While we're waiting,
Yes, sir.
I know Halloween's around the corner.
Indeed.
And you and your family are known for these marvelous Halloween costumes.
thank you.
Do you have an idea yet what you guys are doing?
Hey! You made it! Bravo. Hey, come up on stage. Come up on stage. This is fantastic. Okay, so you're tell me your name again?
Justin.
Justin, Neil. Nice to see you. So Justin, what did you guys see in the beginning? So could you hear then? So I handed you this,
Yes.
and it has been sealed. No one touched it
That's exactly
this whole
right.
time. And inside, now open it up. There, it's taped on the top. There was a little. Okay, great. And inside this bag is a letter that I wrote earlier today. And Justin, will you read it?
I will be happy to. Hiya. Last night in my sleep, I dreamt that Nick Jonas was in Paris, France, eating a slice of pizza.
Yeah.
XONPH.
P.S.
Roswell chose the Four of Hearts.
What? Is that right?
Yes.
Was it the Four of Hearts?
Yes, it was.
Thanks, man. Nice to meet you.
Well, that was awesome. So, ladies and gentlemen, Neil Patrick Harris.
Thank you, guys. We'll sing a little bit. We'll sign some stuff.
So, don't go anywhere. While Neil's getting ready upstairs to sign your books,
Yeah.
I need you to get set up upstairs.
Yes, sir. We'll see you in a sec.
Special instructions for everyone, so you have to listen. This goes to everyone in the overflow room too. So if you bought books, there's special instructions for all of you. So to join the line upstairs, I need my glasses. When you purchased your book and the copy of the Magic Misfits, the minor third this evening, it came along with like a ticket. The ticket will tell you where you are in line along with the group. So Neil will be signing any book that you bring up, but he won't be signing any memorabilia. No photos will be taken, and all this will be going on the second floor of the library. So please go up. If you have your book, bring it up there. If you still need to buy a book, Politics and Prose is outside. Thank you.